All right, let's dive in. Today, we're unpacking the incredible story of Happy Robot, an AI startup that's automating the hidden work that keeps our physical world moving. And they just raised a ton of money doing it. But trust me, their journey was anything but a straight line. So, Happy Robot just announced this massive $44 million Series B funding round. Now, what's really wild is that this is less than a year after their Series A. Why? Because they've grown their revenue by over 10 times. So what exactly are they building that's growing so fast? Okay, so at its core, Happy Robot is building what they call a digital workforce. Think of these as AI agents, but they're not just chatbots. They're designed to handle that whole messy web of communications for companies that move actual stuff in the real world. Logistics giants like DHL and Uber Freight. But really, to get it, you've just got to hear it. That right there, that's their AI on a call. Did you hear how natural that sounded? It's got the pauses, the uhs, the filler words, even a little bit of that office background noise. This is so far from your typical robotic call center voice. And right away, you instantly get why this is so powerful. But here's the twist. This incredible success, it didn't come from their first idea. Not even close. To really understand how Happy Robot got here, we've got to go back. We need to talk about the story before the story. So the founding team, Pablo, Javi, and Louis, they go way back. Two of them actually met on their second day of university in Spain, like 12 years ago. They were tinkering on projects together for years before they finally got together in 2022 to build a real company. And they were so good, they landed a spot in the super prestigious Y Combinator in the summer of 2023. And they got into YC with a completely different idea. They were building this super advanced platform to help computer vision companies automatically label all their data. I mean, it was a really technical product, and on the surface, it looked like it was working pretty well. In fact, get this, they walked into Y Combinator with $70,000 in annual revenue already locked in. Now, you have to understand, compared to their peers who were mostly pre-revenue, they felt like they were absolutely crushing it. But that feeling wouldn't last. So they were on a path, right? They were getting customers, they were making money, but what they were about to find out was that they were climbing the wrong mountain entirely. And that realization would lead to one of the most dramatic decisions any startup can make. And this is the question they were slammed with. What do you do when you realize you've built a product, you even have people paying for it, but there's just no path to building a massive company around it? You see, the cracks in the foundation started to show pretty quickly. They found out that the big tech companies would just build these kinds of tools themselves. And the other big market, satellite imagery, was totally dominated by these slow-moving government contracts. I mean, one agency literally told them, "This is cool, let's talk in 6 months." They just couldn't find a single repeatable type of customer. And after some really tough conversations with their partners at YC, they came to this just painful conclusion. As one of the founders put it, they realized there's not a business here. Well, not the kind of huge venture-scale business they'd set out to build anyway. And this all came to a head on the morning of YC Demo Day. This is supposed to be the finish line, the final presentation to hundreds of investors. And in what must have been a gut-wrenching decision, they decided to pivot. They walked on stage to basically announce they were starting from scratch. That decision kicked off what they called pivot hell. They had to go right back to square one. But this time, they weren't just looking for a cool piece of tech to build. They were desperately searching for a massive, painful problem that someone would pay anything to solve. So what they do, they got out of the building, they started going to conferences in totally random industries. We're talking manufacturing, logistics, you name it. They were just listening, searching for that deep, urgent customer pain point. And at a logistics conference, they struck gold. They showed this really buggy demo of a voice AI. It had like a 7-second delay, it was barely working, and an executive's reaction was just immediate. He said, "I have 200 people in a call center. I can give you that business tomorrow if this works." Now that is the sound of finding product market fit. Their way into the market was just as wild. They got a tip, joined this super niche Discord server for logistics nerds, and just did a demo. They woke up the next morning to emails from sales directors at two of the biggest freight brokers in the US. Just like that, they were in. Of course, finding the problem, that was only half the battle. Now they had to actually build something defensible, something that could really solve it at scale. They had to prove they were more than just a simple wrapper on top of somebody else's AI model. Yeah, they figured out really fast that off-the-shelf models like GPT-4 were just way too slow for a real-time phone call. Good for a demo, sure, but not for a real product. So they took a different approach. They started fine-tuning open source models, training them specifically for one thing, negotiating freight rates. And that gave them a critical head start. And their system today is incredibly sophisticated. It's not just one thing. It starts with an AI worker that can reason that a problem might exist, like, say, a shipment might be late. Then it can trigger different workflows. Maybe it shoots off an email first. No reply? Okay, now it triggers a voice call. And overseeing all of it is this master AI they call Frontal, which analyzes every single interaction to learn and give insights back to the humans. It's a whole orchestrated system. So this all leads to the big question, right? What does this kind of technology actually mean for human jobs? Well, Happy Robot's own data gives us a really compelling answer, and it seems to be about making humans better, not just replacing them. Just look at these numbers. By using Happy Robot's AI agents to handle all the boring, repetitive calls, the human reps are booking 25 to 30% more loads every single day. For them, that directly means more commission, more money. They don't see this as a threat. They see it as a tool that makes them better at their jobs. You know, it really proves out that saying we hear all the time, but here it's actually backed by data. AI will not replace you, but a human using AI will. This technology is freeing up people from the tedious stuff so they can focus on the bigger, more strategic work that actually pushes the business forward. And their ambition here is huge. It doesn't stop with freight brokers. Their grand vision is to automate all that non-physical work, all the phone calls, emails, and coordination that keeps our entire physical world running. They're looking at expanding into massive industries like energy, manufacturing, and field services, the whole shebang. So Happy Robot is automating the work that literally moves the world. They're proving you can build a powerful digital workforce for one of the planet's most complex industries. Which leaves us with a pretty big question. What happens to our economy and to the very nature of work itself when every single industry has one?